You know, there's no better feeling than getting yourself a brand spanking new box of orcs and figuring out how to stretch your teeth and make all of them into box with just a couple more bodies. Let's figure it out. Wow! Welcome back to the Red Ones Go Fast, old Big Mek here, and yes, you have stumbled upon the fastest growing Warhammer 40,000 channel on all of YouTube, because it's red and the Red Ones go faster, but also because we specialize in making your teeth go further and telling you how to kit bash things so that you can get all the options out of your box instead of just one. Because these things are honking expensive, but they're also really honking cool, so we want to use them. So, let's figure it out and get into it right now. All right, that's right. For those of you that didn't know, you've been living under a rock, there is a brand new set of orcs, finally, for the first time in years. And I do mean new, not just new sculpts, an actual new unit in the Breaka Boyz. Now, this is actually a kill team. It's called the Wrecka Krew, but what you get is a whole bunch of Breaka Boyz, which are these close combat dudes, and a whole bunch of Tankbustaz, which are ranged guys. And there is every single option in here to build a complete squad of both. The problem being you only actually get 6 bodies to do it. Now, I specialize in orc kit bashing. I've done a number of videos on that. I actually have a whole series called Secrets of the Sprue, where we talk about specific orc sprues and which ones they collaborate with, one of which was on the Commandos and Beast Snaggers of all things. I'll put a link up there. But yeah, they are keyed. They're not monopose like the new Boys set. They actually have different shoulders and head mounts that you can mix and match between the kits and between, you know, the models within the squad, so that you can super easily modify your Beast Snaggers, your Squig Hog Boys, and your Commandos, all with parts from each other, which is really, really cool. And these new guys are the same keys. In fact, I will be doing an update on that video very, very soon. But first, what I wanted to get out was one on how to kit bash these without having to use those. And there's a very specific reason for that. You see, the Commandos kit is incredibly expensive. It's probably, I think, the retail is even more than this kit because they keep shoving in all of those data cards and whatnot for the kill team stuff. And, well, it is a pretty big box. There's 10 Commandos in it, plus the Grot, plus the Squig, and all that stuff. Now, it is cool because you do get the Grot and the Squig, which you can use for your bomb squigs, and you do get, you know, 10 really cool guys, and the knob's kind of big. So yeah, you could do 6 guys to do with this, kind of turn the knob into another special character. You'd have 3 bodies left over, but again, you're in it for a ton of money, and in fact, more money than just buying 2 of these. And even though I know that they're keyed and you can use the Beast Snagga Boys for these, I know that the Snaggas aren't everybody's cup of tea, even though they are just Scar Boys reimagined, and they have tons of cyborg parts on them, and mechanical legs and arms and things like that, and huge gnarly scars all over the place. I get it. People are going to see furs and things like that. They're going to think feral, and they don't want to mix that with this aesthetic, even though, as you'll see coming up, these guys do have this carapace thing that you will use to cover most of what's going on there. So it is a good idea. But there is another contender. And that contender is this. This is the Blood Bowl Black Orc team. Now, Blood Bowl is a really, really cool game in and of itself. And they are squads of like Warhammer Fantasy era squads, you know, from different armies. And they are set up as football teams. And every squad is very different. There are ones that are, I think, upwards of 20 guys, and there's ones that aren't very many guys, kind of everything in between. And this squad happens to be 12, and it's 6 orcs and 6 grots. So let's go take a look.
So the grots here are super duper fun. They would actually make a great start of the Super Grots for Zodgrot Wart Snagga. But also, it'd be pretty easy to turn 2 of these guys into Bomb Squigs / Bomb Grots, which is pretty cool. And again, even though you can see there are the same poses, they do come with multiple pieces so that you can glue them together in different ways and make different looking guys pretty darn easily, which is really cool. You also get 6 of these orcs, and they come as 2 each of these 3 poses. You get kind of grappling guy here. You get the kind of running back looking dude with his right arm forward, and then you get this other looking dude with the right arm backwards. It has this really interesting fist on him, which I think would be the good basis for our first conversion. But first, let's talk about the Wrecka Krew itself. Now, again, this is a kill team, but it comes with 2 units for Warhammer 40k. You get the Tankbustaz, which are the long-range guys with rocket launchers that have been around in the Orc Codex forever. And you get these new guys, which are the Breaka Boyz, which are all equipped with tank hammers. And there's so much equipment on here, they actually give you this whole chart here, because you have a rocket launcher, the Pulsar rocket add-on, a different style of rocket launcher, the rocket pistol, regular choppas, the other rocket pistols, these knuckle busters. These things are new. That's that first conversion I told you about. And then the smash hammer and tank hammer. Now for 40k, you don't have to worry about these too much. The Breaka Boyz are the Breaka Boyz. The hammer is the hammer. The knuckle buster is the only really option. And then with the knob, kind of same thing. You've got either 2 rocket pistols or 1 rocket pistol, not a big deal. And then a rocket launcher is a rocket launcher. This is kind of more for that kill team thing. Now these instructions are pretty cool, because what they do is they show you your 2 build options. So for example, this is the knob, and every part that is grayed out is the same between them. So what you could see here is you get a rocket pistol and a back banner piece are the only differences between these guys, besides the interchangeable heads, because they do give you quite a bit of heads. You get 6 heads for the Tankbustaz, 6 heads for the Breaka Boyz, as well as 2 heads for the knob, which they don't even show you on here, which is quite interesting. But yeah, so what you're going to do is you're going to decide which way you're building your guys out of the box. Whichever way you're not building, you're going to cut out all those extra pieces and get them all lined up in piles so that you have them ready to go for your conversions. Now, because the Tankbustaz have this over-the-shoulder piece, that makes it a bit hard to actually convert those with other models, whereas the Breaka Boyz have these carapace pieces on the back that cover up their backs, which makes them a lot easier to kitbash with, because if you've got an ugly joint or a chunk missing up on the shoulder area where you've combined the arm, you can cover that sin up with the carapace. And as you see, there are a couple like that, so it is definitely something to consider before you build your Breaka Boyz out of the box. All right, before we get to slicing and dicing, I do want to address my drip in this video, because this video is sponsored by me, Old Big Mek, and our merch store, which is theredonesgofasta.com, linked down below. In fact, if you're watching this on your phone, you will have noticed like t-shirts and things down on the bottom that you could just click and buy. It takes you straight to the store. We also have it linked in the description. And we have a ton of really cool merch, including this design right here from BenBam, which is the Go Fasta shirt. This thing is really, really rad, with a crazy orc speed freak driving at the speed of sound, coming at you hardcore. We have this in multiple different colors, including a black one with a white version on it of the design. It looks very metal band. And we have this in hoodie where it's in full color, which is really, really cool. We also have Red Squig, which is my original cool design idea for Orkydom, because, you know, when you're going to be an orc and you want to go faster, well, you need some extra wah. And what better way to get that than to slam yourself a Red Squig. In fact, we have these really rad metal water bottles that have been all the rage with my grots. Keep trying to steal this one from me. We also have, like you see, the hats and a couple of different mug designs that are a whole lot of fun, including this one, which is dirty paint water on this side and Red Squig on this side, which you could just kind of mix them together. They're pretty much the same thing. But yeah, check out our merch store down in the link below. I'd really appreciate it. All right, back to the action. All right, and the result of going through all of these parts and pulling out the ones for the Breaka Boyz are these piles of parts here. You actually end up with 6 complete different sets of parts, even though it's only designed to build 5 boys, plus the knob parts. And now here's why. One of these guys, this one right here, you can either build with the double tank fist things called knuckle busters, or you can build them with the smash hammer. And so you actually end up with everything you need to do both of those. So that is your full 6 setup for your Breaka Boyz. Now where you run into an issue is the knob here. Now as you see, the knob only comes with 2 options, and that's with the tank hammer or with the dual rocket pistols. And since all of the arms and everything are the same, what you end up with is just 1 rocket pistol. However, as you do get an extra tank hammer from the regular guys there, you can end up building a second one like this with a tank hammer and a single rocket pistol. So the only thing that you're not able to do by combining these 2 kits is being able to build a double rocket pistol guy. But that's all DACA and no Choppa. And, you know, we're orcs. We like the Choppa. Now the other thing with the Blood Bowl guys is that you only have 3 poses. You've got the grappling guy here with the 2 open hands, or you've got the kind of running back looking guy here who's got knuckles going on this one, and then the open hand. And then you have this guy, and this guy's the most interesting because even though he's got the open hand on the one side, on the other side, he pretty much already has a fist going on there. Now, what I would suggest for your knob is, because you are going to be using this 1 tank pistol, and it is a right-handed pistol, you need a left-handed hammer. And all of the hammers are really 2 hands, except for this one bit right here. This one is a right-hand only hammer, so that will make that very easy. And the left hand here is just wide open. So you end up not using this arm at all, and it gives you that arm with the hammer, that hand with the pistol, and a carapace top, allowing you to do the knob. So as you see, just replacing the left arm of this one with one of the hammer hands, you already are pretty much there. You can just leave that other hand as a spike hand if you want, and then you'd still have what you're looking for. Your other option is to like cut this hand flat and put one of the hand ends for this one on it, or you could just cut the whole other arm off and do the same thing. And here is our knob. So yeah, like I said, you just chop off this hand, slap on the one with the pistol, chop off the other hand, slap on the 1-armed hammer, and it is easy as pie. The heads even go on super easy because these Blood Bowl guys have a flat retaining area, so you just sand the back of the head flat, and boom, Bob is your uncle. You can see the head is even nice and appropriately sized for the big beefy body that this guy has, who's actually quite a bit bigger than the Breaka Boyz. But yeah, he looks fantastic, especially for the knob. Now, you will notice that this guy is quite torn up on the top. You see, these guys do actually look pretty decent up there, but what I really wanted to do was see how the carapace worked. So these pieces right here can hide a lot of sins on a orc model. And yeah, I think I really wanted to try using it, so I chopped everything on the back, and we will slap this right on top. And as you see, it works quite well. The belts that are underneath the armor work up with the carapace. The back just kind of cascades down, looks pretty good. And yeah, there you go. That is a Breaka Boy knob. Now the rest of these guys are going to be a little bit harder because, as you see, the hammers here are 2-handed. So you have a couple of options. So one would be trying to actually attach them with the hands. And as you see, the arm width, the wingspan of these Blood Bowl guys is quite a bit larger than the wingspan of the hands for that. So you can either do some serious surgery and cut the whole arms off, and then use the arms that are actually designed for the hammers and just kind of jam them in place there into the armpits. I would leave maybe the shoulder pads alone on these guys and make that. All right, after having done a ton more work, I think I've screwed up. You see, 2 of these bodies are this pose right here, which on the surface doesn't seem too bad, except for you'll notice that the orc's right hand is right in front of his face. And where that causes an issue is that all of the hammers are right-handed hammers, putting the hammerhead literally in front of his face. It becomes kind of almost impossible to make a pose that doesn't look really stupid. Now there is one hammer that is left-hand high, this one right here. So that one you could possibly work with, but again, it's going to be kind of an awkward pose because the hammer is going to be on his backside. So if you are going to do this, what I would suggest is actually using this body for the knob. If you really look here at the knob, it'd be super easy to put that pistol hand here, kind of cock the pistol this way instead, and still get his head on there nice and high, no problem. And then with this arm, you can totally put the hammer in that one, and it would work great. So he would make the best knob. And then also our hammer hand guy here, again, it would be easy to put the hammer hands on this particular dude because you are not blocking the face, because this is the whole hand right here, right? You could chop that right there at the glove, stick this one on, again, chopped right at the glove, and it's not going to block the face. So these two bodies should be your hammer hand and your knob. So where does that leave me? I can either undo all the work I did on the two conversions, move them to the other bodies, and start again, or I can just do something else completely.
And ultimately, the something else completely, I think, is what I'm going to do. You see, I do still have another squad of Breaka Boyz here, and I am not above sacrificing 5 of these guys to make the other 5 Breaka Boyz that I need. The one guy with the one hammer hand, it'll be easy to kind of chop his one hammer hand off and go with making some Breaka bodies based out of them. I also think that the aesthetic just works better. The Breakas, their powered swords and saws and things like that are already like really, really similar to the new Breaka Boy weapons. So yeah, you could just kind of take these axe heads off and put the hammer heads on and not even really change the rest of the weapon, making these like super duper easy conversions. And then again, with all the furs and things on top, it's super easy to kind of chop that up and use that carapace to cover it up. So yeah, Secrets of the Sprue video, I think, will allow us to see that one a bit better. You know, and there is one other option, and that would be to get a squad of the old boys, the 11 to a box, the old guys with the booties, and just kind of building those up and using those as your base. Frankly, size-wise, they work even better than these guys. These guys are quite a bit chunkier than I was expecting, actually. All the things I'd seen online, they looked about the size of like the knob that comes in the old boys kit, where they're kind of stunty on the legs and then like a bigger top. And I thought that that was going to match the Breaka Boyz really nicely. And frankly, these guys are just chonkers. I chopped a ton of meat off the top of that one guy to put the carapace on for the knob, and he did turn out well. But yeah, if you want to save money doing this conversion by getting this super duper cheap set, be prepared to do a lot of surgery to actually make it work. It might not even be worth it, especially considering how cheap and easy it is to find old boys. I mean, they're practically falling out of people's ears. You know, you can grab a squad of those pretty darn easy. And again, you can even use fully built ones and just kind of chop them up, because all you really need is the body and the legs. The arms that you get spare are easily good enough to use with the old boy kits, and that might be the better option for you. And again, if you get one of those boxes, it's 11 to a box. You're going to use 6 of them for these guys. You're still going to have 5 left over. Hey, guess what? There's 5 bodies for your Luda or Burnas, whichever one you didn't build out of your Luda and Burna kit. So that might actually be the most cunning way to go. And this was just a very expensive lesson for me to learn and pass on to you. Well, that's going to do it for this one. We swung for the fences, and it was, I wouldn't call it a strikeout, but it wasn't as clean as I was hoping. I did a lot of research on orc kits, obviously, before starting this, having such a large collection, and I knew that there were good options in the Commandos and in the Breaka Boyz, but it doesn't really save you any money, especially the Commandos. Oh my god, you're spending more money buying that second squad than you are just getting 2 squads of Breaka Boyz. So it just doesn't make sense. And so when you're trying to like figure out these ways to stretch your dollar and get everything out of your kit, you know, it's got to actually save money. If it doesn't save money, it's not worth doing. So, you know, it was worth definitely checking everything out. Again, I think if you can get yourself a squad of Breakas for pretty cheap, which being that they're in the current combat patrol and maybe, you know, they aren't everyone's favorites, they should be pretty darn easy to use. And again, once you put all the carapace and everything on them, you're not even going to know that they were ever beast snaggers, because all of the cyborg limbs and things like that really match up nice with the Breaka Boy bodies. But also, again, I just think maybe the old school boys is the way to go. Plus, that allows you to build them the other way easier, where you build the Breaka Boys out of the box and you use all the Tankbustaz bits on the old boys. And that's going to be like super duper duper easy, because you don't need that carapace to cover up anything on their backs. And in fact, you even get a rocket launcher already, right? So there's one whole guy you don't even have to convert. So yeah, definitely something to be said there. I have seen people use the new monopose boys as a basis of these, and it works pretty darn easily. They're also not that hard to get a hold of. They were in the old Combat Patrol box, and most people, they like kind of built 10, and then they didn't really want the other 10 because they're literally monopose. There is no build options on those besides the heavy bolt or heavy shooter to rocket launcher, or the knob having either the power claw or the big claw. Everything else is you get what you get. So it's a pretty easy kit to find used secondhand. And again, even if it's all built, it's not a big deal. But yeah, you can kind of use that kit. And that one's maybe not so bad of an idea either, because again, the knob in that kit is ginormous. You can easily plop him on a 40 or a 50 if you want a future proof, because we all know it's going to 50 millimeter base to make a war boss out of. And then yeah, and then you're just you know, and then you use 6 of the guys to make your either your Breaka Boys or your Tankbustaz, and then you're left with kind of 3 random bodies. Yeah, see, exactly, it doesn't work the greatest. So yeah, my personal recommendation, if you really want to spread your teeth as best you can with the Breaka Boyz box, would be to actually buy 3 kits. I would buy 1 Wrecka Krew, 1 Luda kit, which again gives you Ludas and Burnas, and 1 Old Boy kit. And those 3 boxes together, you'll be able to build 5 Burnas, 5 Ludas, 6 Tankbustaz, and 6 Breaka Boyz. And I think that is the cheapest and the easiest way to actually convert these. Even though these parts don't pop onto the old boys the way that they do pop onto the commandos and the beast snaggers, the old boy kit is just so much cheaper. And really, like I said, especially with the Tankbustaz bits, it's way, way, way easier to just plop them onto a super simple orc body than deal with something like the Blood Bowl guys. Now, all that being said, if you really want to do something unique, or you really want to make your Breaka Boys look like extra hardcore, the Blood Bowl box is pretty darn cool. And like I said at the beginning, they're super easy to find for really, really, really cheap. I picked mine up on eBay for 25 bucks without even looking. It was like oh, hey, yeah, I think this is like the way to go. Let me pull up eBay. Like the first box I saw was 25 bucks. I was like, okay, buy, right? You know, so something to be said for picking it up cheap and then having to put in more work. And again, it'll make a very unique looking boy squad, or, you know, Breaka Boy squad out there on the board. So yeah, there you go. There's my attempt at spreading the Wrecka Krew around. Hopefully you got some really good valuable advice on this before you spend your own teeth on what you're doing to convert these. Now, again, if you want to see more about this, I will be doing that Secrets of the Sprue video I've been talking about the whole time. I'm going to go over this entire sprue, top to bottom, every single piece, along with, again, the commandos and the beast snaggers, so that you can see which parts line up if you are interested in that. And then again, just if you want to see the sprues before you buy the kit. But yeah, if you've already got yourself a kit and you're wanting to spread it further, that's why I wanted to get this particular video out there. That way you could kind of see and feel and figure out what was going to be best for you. So yeah, lots of options using the new boys, getting yourself a war boss, and then having 3 bodies left over, using yourself the old boys, which is my recommendation, especially because you can also get that Luda kit. And like I said, you get 5 Burnas, 5 Ludas, 6 Breakas, 6 Tankbustaz, boom, you're done. Bob's your uncle. Super duper easy way to go. Or you can get yourself a squad of beast snaggers, and again, I think that would work pretty well, but then again, you're going to be left over with 4 bodies that you're not going to really know what to do with. Same thing with the commandos, and man, with the commandos, again, that's pricier than just buying a second one of these. So that one just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Although, again, if you have commandos and you like the bits that were left over on them, the heads are going to swap over and things like that. So you can definitely mix and match pieces because, again, there is a new orc keyed kind of multi-pose setup, and these guys are in it. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I really appreciate you all watching. If you want to see more kit bashing, conversions, and money saving on Warhammer 40K, especially with a serious orc focus, please consider clicking the like or subscribe button so that you don't miss any episodes coming up, including that Secrets of the Sprue. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this one. Until next time, walk on!